Good morning. Welcome to Trading with Goals. We're going to start. So yesterday we got a continuation after our Friday decision. So for SPY, we had talked about the 50% retracement on the 4-hour. On the 4-hour, and we 50% on the 4-hour is 443. So before that, we need to break some key levels for SPY. Then the key level is we need to break 768, 764. 768, 764, 757, 753. Those are the key levels for SPY. So all we needed when we were experiencing that consolidation the past week, where SPY was barely breaking above 475, we said we needed 1 day to break the previous higher low level, to break the support, and then it gives us a decision for the next day or to trend puts, which can take 3 days. So we know pullback can take 3 days, or in those 3 days, we are creating 3 lower lows. So it means you're going to break the previous support, which was 473, which you broke yesterday, and SPY has hit 470. So another day, we are supposed to create a lower high and then break this support to create the second lower low and possibly a third lower low. Okay, so we can get 3 lower lows, or we can get 2 lower lows and an inside bar. When you get an inside bar, can be an indication this stock no longer wants to pull back. It wants to go back up, or it can be a day of just constriction, and then we have continuation. So far, some stocks we have more than 2 lower lows, but for SPY, we got our first lower low yesterday. We had this indecision on Friday, and then we had our first lower low yesterday. So this is what we are looking for today. There's a possibility we might continue down to create a second lower low and even go for a third lower low. But I'm keen on what happens today. If we don't hit 464 today, if we reject 464, we are probably going to have going up the following day, which is tomorrow. Today is Wednesday, tomorrow is Thursday. So these are the levels we are looking for. If we are rejecting 464, or if we break 464 and then hit 457, still we'll be creating a higher low. Because we've come all the way from this level. This is the support when we were consolidating 453, where we were having a hard time breaking it. But if any level above any of the levels I've mentioned, 468, 464, 457, if we are above any of these levels, then I'm anticipating the next from tomorrow, we might continue with the bullish trend. Okay, so that is what I'm watching for. If we create a second lower low today, then we create an inside bar. It means we'll be looking at calls to continue with the bullish trend. But today, it's important to see what happens today, especially when a stock hits a 52-week high or an all-time high. You might have that 1 day or 2 days where a stock pulls back, and then the market can have an indecision day, and then it decides, no, we don't want to go down, we want to go back up. So this is why I'm saying today is important. We already got our decision on Friday, and yesterday we got our first lower low. So today, what happens today is important. If we have a whole day trending down, then there's a possibility tomorrow we might be bullish, or this trend might continue for another third lower low. Okay. So as I said, usually January is a bullish month, but we had hit the top. Most stocks we've hit 52-week high or all-time high. Okay. So whenever we have that, if we look at the Bollinger Band, some of these stocks have broken rules. Okay, for SPY, we haven't, we broke rule here. So we are safe here. And this is the level, if we are looking at these, the mid band, which is the 50-day moving average, then we are looking at it going back to 467. If we reject this 467 or 464, then it means we are going back up. But that's the outlook. And we had already seen this last week where we were consolidating, and we had said we needed just one day for a decision, which we got on Friday. And then now we have continuation. Okay. So today there's a possibility we might continue with the bearish trend to create the second lower low. So that's for SPY. So QQQ, the key level is 397. Okay. It has hit, I think it has broken 400. It has hit 399 pre-market. It has barely broken that 400 here. The key level is 397. Anytime, because this is it's been a while since we were seeing these levels. So we have not so much history. We'll just go by what these levels tell us. So 397, the next key level is usually 393. Okay, if we break that 393, we have the 388, then 382. Okay, so we already have two lower lows, and this one went and even touched the 50-day moving average on the Bollinger Band. So this one already gave us the first lower low, and this is the second lower low. So we can get a third lower low, or if we get an inside bar, then it means tomorrow it's whoever wins. In any time you have where the market is going down, and then we create an inside bar, a breakout or a breakdown usually follows it. Okay. So this is what we got, two lower lows. Now we can go to a third lower low, meaning we're going to break this level, which we already broke pre-market because we broke 400 to go even lower. Okay. Those are for the two, the SPY and QQQ. Now, we had said MSTR was still, the Bitcoin was still our top trades because of we've been seeing some price action with the Bitcoin. Okay. So yesterday it went up. So if you're using any of the CPR levels, which usually update. So yesterday we had it updating for the month and also for the week. So if you're looking at the CPR levels for the week, so it has a narrow CPR. So we have 631, 631, 630, but it rejected going to R2. So it opened above R1 and it rejected R2. So when you're having a rejection, it was very far from R2. So it hit 727. And this whole time, from when it hit 727, there was just consolidation, consolidation, consolidation. The entire, that's from my time, 15 minutes after market open, all the way to mid-morning, it was not breaking that level. And then we finally got that pullback, and which we've seen, it has gone back to CPR. Okay. So anytime you're trading a stock or you want to anticipate a move, you always must have a target level. If that stock is not hitting a target level, it's a rejection. So anticipate a pullback. And if that pullback, it's whether you're using CPR or 30 levels, it's either going back to close, if it's 30, or it's going back to CPR. And this is what we've seen. So it means we're still anticipating a move because it has a narrow CPR. If anyone has looked at stocks that have narrow CPR for the week or for the month, then it means we're anticipating some move this week, which is from yesterday up to Friday, or for the month, it means the entire month some move is coming. So for MSTR, we've gotten that pullback. So we want to see if that continuation will get it going to other lower levels, or will it reject going lower and decide to go back up. Okay, but so far it has pulled back to the CPR level, which is 631. So if it breaks 631, it can go to 573, 514, 456. We've seen MSTR fills those gaps. If there was any gap it did going up, like here from 617, went all the way to 727, it can fill the same gap going down. So it means if it's not breaking this level, it can fill the same gap going down, which is what we are seeing it has done pre-market. Okay. Now, for coin, we already knew the direction because it failed to retest 187, and that was from last week. Okay, so it failed to break above, so it hit 187. This is a triple top. So we have 187 here. The second, this was a double top. We got this move, and then it went back again yesterday pre-market to the same 187 and failed to break it. So this was a triple top. And what you trade out of a triple top is a bearish trend. So this is the move we got. It means it was going to break the previous support, which has done, and it has gone all the way. So so this has a wide band, but if it has a wide band, look at the gap fills. Anytime you have a stock with a wide band, always look at the gap fill. So this one was from CPR 167 to 153, and then from 153, it can fill a gap to 131. When you see a wide band, it means that stock had a wide band. It was going up, and that's what we see. It was a coin had a gap to fill the gap from 142. It went all the way to 187, and even before that, it had come down. It had started this journey from 118, was it? So 118. So this was when it was trying to break this 131 level. So from 118, went all the way to 150, and then we broke that 155, and then we went all the way to 187. So if we are seeing a wide band, it might feel the same levels going down. It doesn't mean you're not trading that stock because it has a wide band. So this is what we got, a triple top for coin, and this is the move we are seeing. So we want to see if it will continue going down or it will go back up. Okay, so that's for coin and MSTR. Now I'd given also ZS as a quality trade, and it's because we had talked about this 227 level. Every time we come from this 224, there's usually a lot of selling at 224. So we barely broke it and went to 227. That was on Wednesday last week. But since then, we were just creating lower highs. We didn't break this level. We created a lower high here on Thursday and also on Friday. Okay, so now we've seen it is done this drop from 227. It has hit 208 pre-market. So where did we come from? We came from 195. So we have this 203. can either go to 203 or 195. That's where we came from. And if it breaks it, then we have this post-ER support, which was 177. So if it keeps going down, if it breaks below 193, we are looking at 197. Okay. So this one has a medium CPR, and it has already broken S1. So we want to see if it's going to go to S2 and then S3, which is now 198. So if it breaks those levels, we have the 193 and then the post-ER support, which is 177. So far, it is playing out. If you look at the daily chart, we got our second lower low. So here it was indecision. Then we had a first lower low on Friday, and then a second lower low, and it has broken the 213, the mid band on the daily. Okay, so these are the levels now we are looking out for: 205, 198, those S2 and S3, if you're using the CPR levels. Okay, so those are the three. We had the next one, the top quality trade, we had AVGO, and we had talked about the semiconductors yesterday, and we said we were anticipating this bearish trend. That's what we had talked about yesterday. So we were supposed to get puts. And AVGO was already down or almost 20 points, over 20 points with the market open. So it took time. If you go to a lower time frame, you'll see it took time consolidating before it made that drop here. Okay, so it has a wide band. Of course, it has a wide band because it was going up since post-ER. So you might not find those constrictions on the weekly. It still has a wide band. If we look at the monthly, so it has a median band on the monthly. Now, it means if it's still dropping on the monthly, the CPR level is 1020. On the weekly, so it's below the CPR level. It has hit S1. So we have S2 as 1028, and then we have 996. So where did it come from? Remember post-ER. So we came from 889. This was the post-ER support. It went all the way, filled this gap, went from 889 all the way to 1151. So it means going down, it can fill the same gap going down. Okay. So all these moves that you're seeing with stocks filling the gap, it means they can fill the same gap going down. Okay. So now I'm still anticipating today we might continue with the bearish trend today. But if we reject the support levels, then we are gonna get some bullish move from tomorrow into Friday. Okay. So Netflix, Meta, I wanna discuss only the few stocks I've talked about. PDD, the Chinese stocks, PDD and Baidu, and then Netflix, Meta, BA. Some of the stocks that I've mentioned there, they can be anticipate some bearish trend today, and then we might get a bounce tomorrow. Okay, so all semiconductors, I only, excuse me, I know I mentioned, I've put there SMCI and NVIDIA, but semiconductors are there. AVGO, LRCX, KLAC, the rest of the semiconductors are in that list because we spoke about what to anticipate for semiconductors this week. We said we're going to get both trends. We're going to go down and then we're going to get a bullish trend. So it's going to be a zigzag week this week. And that's why I said if we are trading puts, we might get 2 days of trending down and then we might get 2 days or 1 day of we are going back up. There was very few stocks that were momentum this week. So this is what we are looking at. I will not look at the semiconductors. I just looked at AVGO because we had put it as our top quality trades this week. So still anticipate the same for semiconductors, but I'm gonna look at Meta. So as we are seeing most stocks, they've hit the second lower low. So we will anticipate a pullback. You can get 3 to 6 days. So in those 3 to 6 days, especially the first 3 days, you're creating 3 lower lows. So we got our first lower low on Friday. Then yesterday we got our second lower low. It broke the 50-day moving average, the 343. So today we are looking at, are we going to get a third lower low? Meaning we're going to break this support to go even lower. So if we look at Meta, it has hit 341. So where did we come from? So we have the 313. That was from when it had rejected, when it had a hard time staying above 340. So it pulled back to 313. But we know there's a key level that last time when it was trending up, the 330. You guys remember when it was having a hard time breaking that 330? So this 330 level. So if we keep going down with the bearish trend, we're looking at 330, and then we have the 315. If you guys remember the key levels for Meta, when it's above 305, you're holding calls to 315. When it's above 315, you're holding to 330. When it's 330, we had this 342, which is still we had a hard time breaking it for a couple of days. And then now we have an 52-week high, which is 362. So we are looking at it today. If we get a bearish trend today, we want to see if it's going to go to 330. If it rejects 330, then we'll be getting calls. Or if it breaks 330, we're looking at it going to 315. Okay, so that's for Meta. When we are done with this pullback, because we already have 2 lower lows, if we get a third lower low, then the key day is today and tomorrow, whether we're going to get a third lower low, meaning we're going to break this support to go lower, or we're going to get an inside bar. So sometimes you get 2 lower lows and an inside bar, or you get the 3 lower lows and then a stock goes back up. But if that does not happen, then it means this bearish trend is going to continue and we're going to go all the way to 315. The next one is Netflix. So last week we were trading puts for it, and it broke support on Friday. We got a second lower low yesterday. So we want to see, are we going to get a third lower low? So most of this stock is the same thing. If today we are going to get a third lower low level. Okay. So Netflix key level is 453. Then 453, we have 444. Then 444, 435, 427. So those are the key levels for Netflix. If we look at CPR, so it has a medium CPR and it's already at S2. So we want to see if it will go to S3, 457. Now, if stocks like this big ATR, some of them are going to break this, might break S3. So if you're using the weekly, then you have to switch to the monthly CPR, because some of these big ATR stocks, they're very close to breaking that S3. Okay, so if you look at the monthly, S1 is 433. So don't just stick to weekly. You can look at the monthly just to know what to anticipate. Okay, so it has a medium CPR on the monthly. Or is this a wide one? So 462, 467, 471. Now, whenever you see stocks with a medium or wide band, look at the gap. it will always give you a huge gap fill. So this means if we break 462, we are going all the way to 433, and that's the monthly. So this is a long, this is the levels for the entire month. Okay, so now I'm focusing more on the support levels because we are trending down and we are anticipating to create a third lower low. So we are not going to those previous support levels. So here we have the 444, it's a key level, 453, 444. If we are breaking 444, 435, 427. So we already have two lower lows. So are we going to get a third lower low, meaning we're going to break this to go even lower today? Okay. So Meta, Netflix, and BA. Okay, so BA, we had this consolidation here, and then we had the first lower low, and then we had an inside bar, and then yesterday we got a second lower low, and it went to hit 250, which is the mid band. Okay. If we see, look at the weekly CPR. Okay. So it has like a medium CPR, 257, 258, 259. Okay, it's already hit S1. It's almost touching S2. So you guys remember when BA was going up, the level it was trying 240, what was the level? 244? 247. So it had a hard time breaking 247. So coming down is the same level. If it breaks 247, we have 235. So the same levels we were having a hard time going up are the same levels we're looking at now. So it's at, so it has hit that 247. So the next level support 235. If it breaks 235, what was the other one? 221. Okay. So you can use the CPR levels for the week. If it breaks this 239, then you can change these to monthly CPR. If we are not hitting those levels today, then tomorrow there's a possibility we're having a bullish trend. But there's a chance today we are still continuing in the bearish trend. For BA, we had this, the first lower low. This is the second lower low. So we might get a third lower low, or we have another inside bar. If it's another inside bar, then it means it wants to go back up, or it wants to continue down. Anytime you have a constriction like here, always look at that stock. When it creates a support, it breaks up. This one broke the range. The next day, it created an inside bar. Look at that stock the next day, because whenever you have a constriction, you're either followed by a continuation down or a breakout. Okay, so PDD and Baidu. Okay, so PDD on the daily. PDD has a narrow CPR, 144, 145. So something's going to happen this week. It had consolidation. So we had here 3 lower lows. If somebody doesn't know what I'm talking about with the lower lows, this was the first lower low, the second lower low, the third. So a stock can pull back 3 days. When in those 3 days is creating 3 lower lows. So it means the first lower low, the second day, it breaks that support to create another lower low. The third day, it breaks support to create another lower low, or it can create an inside bar. So here we got 3 lower lows, and then we got this consolidation, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. So consolidation is still the same thing, 3 days, 6 days, 9 days. So we still haven't broken 139. I told you guys when I wrote there, as long as it's above 139, you are riding it back up. Mostly the key level is 145. If it breaks 145, we still have this 150, that it barely stayed above it when it hit the 52-week high. So if we are above 139, and that's what happened yesterday, it stayed above 139, okay? And then it went up. Now, so if it's not going to staying above 145, so here this, if we go by CPR level, it hit S1, then went back to CPR. So now if it's not going to R1, which is 148, then we're looking at it going down. The minute is above 139, then you're looking at it continuing with the bearish trend, 142, 138, 136. If it breaks this level, refer to 30, or you can refer to the monthly CPR. Okay, so this, when you look at the Chinese stocks, Baidu has been the strongest compared to PDD and Baba, which have been thoroughly beaten down. But for Baidu, it's been the strongest. It reported earnings and it just kept going up, creating new 52-week high here. So now we want to see what, if we're going to break, we already now have, we had these 3 lower lows, we got consolidation, we have a lower low, it broke support. So we want to see if we're going to get a second lower low. So it's the same thing for all these stocks that we're looking at. Today, it's looking if we're going to get a third lower low. Most of these stocks, when you look at this, the chart is the same thing. Okay. So PDD, Baidu, it rejected 127 here. It gave us 6 days here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if a stock is giving you 3 lower lows, if it's not going back up, then you're going to get all the way to 6 lower lows. It means 6 days of pullback. Pullback takes 3 to 6 days. So we had here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we had, it started inside band consolidation, then it continued down. And we had this consolidation. Most of the stocks did the same last week of December. And then it tried to go up. Anytime it goes up, as long as it's not going to retest this level, it's a lower high, you're looking at continuation. So far, we have 1 lower low. Okay, so we had this pullback, shallow pullback. Then we had our first lower low. So the same thing. Today is the day we are looking for the second lower low for most of these stocks. Okay. Baba has been the weakest. So here, post year, it continued going down. It broke 70. And then this was a pullback. It was just 1, 2 lower lows, an inside bar. Another breaking, barely breaking resistance and indecision here, just barely breaking 76, then 77, 77 here. And then finally, we broke support. We broke the previous higher low level. We have our first lower low. So the same thing. Are we going to get a second lower low? So this is the same thing for most stocks. Is if we are going to get a third lower low today. Okay, so, oh, Tesla. So Tesla, we hit 265. I thought we'll get some price action yesterday because they gave the delivery report, but of course we didn't get that move up. But it's the same thing. So for Tesla, we have 2 lower lows. So this was, it went up. Of course, 265 is a key level. If you're not breaking this key level, anytime Tesla rejects 265, you're getting puts to 247. So those people who did that last week, it went back to 247. So yesterday I'd said if it doesn't hit 253, then it's still weak. Anytime Tesla rejects that 253, it's still weak. So today, Tesla is still in the same list. We got two lower lows. So this was after the pullback, we broke support. It has three lower lows actually. So the first lower low, this is the first lower low because it broke 253, the first lower low, the second lower low, the third lower low. Okay, it hit 243, 244 yesterday. So we want to see the same thing today. Will it continue to break this support or will it go up? It can go on. If it creates an inside bar, that can be a good indication for us, but it can go on to break this support to go even lower. Now, if it's breaking 247, we know the next key support is 237. So if you're trading these stocks, the ones you keep trading again and again, and we're talking about the same levels again, just note the levels or write them down or draw them on your chart because it's the same levels we've been talking about Tesla ever since you guys knew me. It's the same levels we're talking about today. So if it rejects 265, it puts to 247. It breaks 247, it's supposed to go to 237. Okay. So Tesla, the same thing. And the reason we're watching it is because of deliveries. I think they made good deliveries. So something is supposed to happen. Okay, then we have Lily. It broke a key level 585. Okay, so Lily, I'd given Lily last week, it was supposed to create 3 higher highs. So we had our first higher high, we had our second higher high, we had an inside bar. Anytime you have a stock doing this, creates higher highs and then an inside bar, always look at it the next day because it can either break out to break the previous high level or break down. So this one gave us the 3 higher highs. Okay, so we have lower lows and then we have higher highs. It's been bearish. Okay, so it rejected this support. It would have gone back to the previous support. It rejected it, but it's been bearish from 627. It dropped all the way to 561. So anytime it's above our key level, when it's coming from down, as long as it's above 567, you're riding calls. I gave these levels, I think 2 weeks ago. If it's above 567, you're riding calls to 585. If it breaks 585, it's supposed to go to 603. Okay, 603, then it's supposed to retest this 627. So now we already have, they kind of look dwarfy, but there are 3 higher highs. So this was the first one, the second one, and then the third one. Okay, so we are looking at it today because it still hasn't hit 603. So as long as it's below 603 or rejects 603, even if it breaks 603 and does not go to 612, then 627, then you're still trading puts going down. But at least it has given us those three higher highs. So now we want to see if it will keep on going because a pullback should last 3 to 6 days. So far we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 days. So we want to see if it will give us 2 more days because a pullback should last 3 to 6 days. It was bearish and this is a pullback. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So that's for Lily. Anyone who's looked at volume? Has anyone looked at volume? Okay. So EXP, this was post year, it's just trending up. If you count, these are more than almost from the November 3rd to December 22nd. So for over 2 months, almost 2 months, it was just trending up, up. We had consolidation here, continuation, consolidation, continuation. So now we have a first lower low, a pullback. So we want to see if it today will get a second lower low. It was consolidating here, then now it broke this support. So it gave us, this was our direction. It gave us direction. So we want to see today if it's going to give us the second lower low. So if it gives us a second lower low, it means we're going to break 147. If we go by this, we have a CCPR. Okay, so it's below CPR. It has hit S1. So S2, 142, 138. If it breaks this level, look at the monthly. So it has a wide band because it was trending up. If you see last month, it had a medium. It had a narrow monthly CPR the entire month of December. And that's why it was trending up. So from the beginning of the month, December, it was at R1. Then it kept going on, rejected, going to R2, which was 164. So here we had a double top, 155, 155. Some of these things are just so clear. If you're getting a double top, of course, it's a bearish trend. So 155, 155, then we got this move down. So CPR level for the month is going back to 140, 136, 132. Okay. If it's not breaking that, then we're looking at it going back up. So any stock that filled a huge range, it was trending up for more than 21 days. You'll notice most of them, the CPR for the monthly is usually wide because it made a wide gap up. After now we had a narrow CPR here, we got a wide CPR here, but look at the gap. So from 140, it was supposed to go to 164. So now this was last month. So this month, it's supposed to go to 164. If it's not going to 164, it's going back to CPR, which is 140, 136, 132. Okay. So GS, any stock that was trending up post-ER and hit all-time high or 52-week high, this is expected. Anytime a stock hits the ceiling, we expect some move, either pullback or it can pull back. If it's a shallow pullback, then we're expecting continuation. So this one, we have our first lower low. So we are looking at it today. So the same thing with the net. Some stocks have given us 2 lower lows. Some stocks have only given us the first lower low. So EXP and net, they gave us the first lower low. So we had this consolidation, and then now we broke this consolidation. So want to see if we're going to get another lower low, a second lower low, a third lower low, or it can say, no, I'm done. I want to go back up. So this is what we're looking at. 224, that's the CPR monthly, or we're going back up. Here last month, it had a medium CPR where it reported earnings, and this is a bullish CPR. So it's still bullish. The CPR is bullish when it's creating higher lows. So here it was consolidating, then a higher low, and then this month it's another higher low. So it means it should be trending up. But we know we've hit 52-week high, so we're looking at a pullback. First lower low. Are we gonna get a second lower low? So whatever stock you're looking at, even if it's not any of the stocks I've mentioned, if they're pulling back or they broke out of that consolidation we had last week, You want to see if they're going to create 3 lower lows. That's the minimum you should get for a pullback is 3 days. In those 3 days, you're creating first lower low, second lower low, third lower low, or you can get 2 lower lows and an inside bar. So any of the stocks we are looking at is the same story. Okay, apart from GS. Okay, so GS, it is going up. It hit a new high yesterday. So it had hit 387. Yesterday it hit 389, 388 or 389. Okay, so it's still trending up. So it broke this resistance to create a new high. But if you look at the daily chart, so from that first day it hit 3, this is the same thing we were talking about with SPY. From the moment it hit 475, it was barely making a range. So from this 487, since December 14th, when we first hit 387, then we hit it, we had a double top here, we pulled back, we created a lower high here, lower high, we had a pullback here, we created some indecision candles, then we've gone to break 387 and barely just going over by 2 points. So that's the same thing we had with SPY, and that's why we got that pullback. When a stock is barely creating ranges, yes, it's creating new highs, but since 14th, today it's up to yesterday is the 2nd. So this is about, I don't know how many weeks. From December 14th, how many days? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So for 11 days, we are barely breaking this just by 2 points. So as much as it's creating new highs and 52-week high, we have to watch this. Either we're going to get a pullback or we're going to get for it to continue to create a big range. But otherwise, this is dangerous. This is the same thing we saw with SPY when it hit 475, and then it just barely broke it to 477, and then now we are pulling back. So keep watch of GS. Okay, it can do the same thing that SPY did. Now, those are now for the bearish trend. All the stocks that were trending up yesterday, they were biotech, and we've started having some news regarding COVID. Some states like California are putting back the wearing a mask mandate, especially if you go into some facilities like hospitals and some other places. So it seems that COVID cases are increasing. So for biotech stocks, they were trending up. They are hitting the levels. BNTX, the key level was to break 112. It did. So here we had, it's been going up since they were beaten down all the way up to when it went to 88. So from whatever support is come from, these levels that I say, these are the times where after such kind of consolidation and it creates a high low, just buy time, because from whatever support BNTX is coming from, it's supposed to go all the way to 112, 118, 118, almost the same levels. Like I feel like I'm confusing them. Almost now the same levels with Moderna. But these are the levels we were looking at from November. When I gave you guys, I said BNTX is supposed to go to 112. That's a key level. From whatever support, even if it goes to 0, it's supposed to go all the way to 112. And it broke that 112 yesterday and hit 115. Okay. Now, it has a narrow monthly CPR. So this means this move, so here, the CPR was still going sideways. We had it up here, then down, then here. It's sideways, but it's a narrow CPR, 100, 100, 100. So the next level is 108, which it broke, 116, which we are almost there, then 125. So this, we can continue the move, especially if now COVID cases continue or that mandate for mask, the news regarding COVID. You guys remember when during COVID, how these stocks were trending up, okay? So if we start having COVID news in, mention of COVID in the news, then we might have these stocks start doing the same thing. So this is 118. This was a previous support level in October last year. So that's where we wanted to go to and continue up. Okay, so COVID cases, if they keep going on and we still start having COVID news, look, these are the stocks that now they are trending. We always want to look at stocks that are trending. So we have BNTX, we have Moderna. So Moderna 133 was the previous support, 142, 163. So we wanted to go back to so the key level, like I said, they have almost the same level now. So BNTX was 118, and here we also have 118, 133. Okay, so from whatever support, it's supposed to go to 118, and it's close to 118. Okay, it has a narrow CPR also. So it means this whole month, this was bearish. If you look at the CPR for the monthly, it was bearish. Here, came down, came down, came down, came down, came down. Now it is up. It is creating a higher low. So this was a lower low CPR. This is a higher low. So if we keep on with the news, it means, so this is the beginning of the month and it has a narrow CPR. So it means this move might continue up to go back to 133. Okay. So you're looking also at the others, J and J. So this sector is trending. You guys remember when we had you usually have what we call sector rotation. You'll have this sector trending, then you have a rotation, something else is trending, and like that. So we had semiconductor stocks were trending when AVGO reported earnings. Then we've had Bitcoin stocks trending because Bitcoin has been running up. And then now we are having biotech stocks that are trending. So always try to be trading a stock that is trending. Okay, so J and J, it should go to 165. That's a key level. If it breaks, these are the levels. You're seeing it also has a narrow CPR monthly. So it means this entire sector, something is going to happen this entire month. It's already happening. Then we have, if you look, it had a bearish CPR monthly. This was in September, October, November, it was just going down. Now it has a higher low CPR. So look at this sector. Okay. So J&J, WBA is reporting earnings this week. If people are going to be taking medication for COVID, you're looking at Walgreens, CVS. So those are the pharmacy stocks. Also narrow CPR. Okay, it's reporting earnings on the 4th, Thursday, tomorrow. Then CVS. So this entire sector, they have all narrow CPR. See, narrow CPR, 73, 73, 73. So this entire sector, it means will continue trending. Some move. This one was going sideways. Now it's a higher low. So keep watch of this. PFE also. This is usually very frustrating. It's been beaten down. Narrow CPR. Okay. So please watch this sector. UNH, I don't know. I don't know if we have this COVID cases going up, the same thing will happen to this insurance going up. So UNH and HAM, the same sector. Okay. Narrow, almost narrow. This is a medium CPR, 474, 475, 476. And it was going down the same thing as UNH. Okay, so that's the entire sector. Any questions? Okay, tomorrow we'll look at retail stocks. But so far, DG and DLTR, those are the ones that were beaten down and they're now trending up. TGT, but cost was pulling back. So we'll look at them tomorrow. But so far, those are the stocks we're looking at. The sector that is now trending, Bitcoin is still trending. You want to trade stock, the sector that is trending. You have volume there. We have volatility. We have some momentum moves that are there. So Bitcoin stocks, Coin, MSTR, Riot, Mara, BTBT. Then now we have biotech stocks, the ones that we looked at. And then we look at retail now. UNH is reporting earnings in January. Netflix is reporting in January. We have some Tesla is reporting in January. So we have a couple of good stocks that we'll start looking at them next week for pre-ER. But so far this week, that's what we're looking for. If we have stocks continuing to create second and third lower lows today into tomorrow. Okay, if there are no questions, Dale or Dawn can sign us off.
Let's make this money, guys.
Let's make this money. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Virginia.